All right, let's do this. Wait, one more thing. There we go. All right, hello, fellow coaches of the Reddit Battle League and whoever else might be watching this video. I'm Joseph, your coach of the Minnesota Eon Twins, and I haven't made a video in a while, but I have a little free time tonight, and I thought I might as well wrap up the season now that Season 5 is over for the Eon Twins. You may or may not know what has happened so far. If you don't, this will be a little bit of a surprise, a little lead into how our season finished up. If you do, then you can just watch along and see a little bit about what I thought about the last couple matches. So this is going to be recapping just the last two matches. So to set the stage, coming in, our team was at 6-3. So pretty decent record. We had started 0-2 on the season. We were on a 6-1 run after that, so 6-3. Our differential was +9, I want to say, something like that, +8, +9. So nothing fantastic, but puts us right on the edge of the playoff bubble. And so to get into the playoffs, we are in control of our own destiny, and we just have to win the last two matches. However, the last two matches of our season, thanks to the gods of scheduling, are against two playoff teams as well. So the first one is the Helsinki High Jump Kicks and Stibe as the coach of that one, and then the Philadelphia Feraligatrs and Alinzko, who of course is running through the league this season with a 9-1 record and an insane differential. So he's clearly going to be the number one seed in the playoffs, and so going into these last two matches, if I win both of them, I'm pretty much guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. If I lose one of them, I have to get a little bit of help, potentially depending on differentials in other matches. If I lose both of them, it's unlikely that I make the playoffs at that point since my differential is so low. So yeah, that's the stage. Eon Twins on the edge of making the playoffs again. So let's go through what happened the last 2 weeks. So our Week 10 match was against the Helsinki High Jump Kicks. There's the team, just so you can be aware of what's around. Jirachi and Conkelder, Diancie, 3 OU picks, Tier 1 picks, so good stuff. For this match, he did have Cloyster. He had dropped Crobat for Cloyster early on. I believe that was this one anyway. There's been some moves in the last couple weeks. Anyways, we don't have a horrible matchup against this team, so I was actually a little optimistic that we'd be able to win. I know that Stibe's a good player, but I feel like hopefully we can hold our own in this matchup. So I'll just get right into the game replay. That is game 2. There is the game 1 that I want to show. So as you can see, we brought Altaria. Then we brought a little bit of speed with Azelf and Raikou, Nimbus and Thundercat. Then we brought Chief or Arcanine or Fire Pupper. I think he's changed over to Fire Pupper now because it goes along with Thundercat. I should name him Thunder Kitty. And then we round out with a little bit more of the defensive side of Empoleon and Assault Vest Electros, which has been surprisingly fun to use. And, well, I've always liked Electros, but it's been pretty solid this season for us. So it's been nice to see that we can use one of our Tier 3 pickups, which we've gotten a little bit better at using. Tier 4, you guys are still not feeling the love too much, but hopefully next season. Anyway, looking at his team, obviously main issues are we got to find out what the Jirachi is, what sort of set it is, because it can run bulky sub stuff, it can run Choice Scarf, it can set up rocks and do all sorts of things, Wish Pass. Diancie is not as much of a mystery because once you Mega Evolve, you're pretty much running offense. So the question there is what sort of coverage moves do you have, and do you have a setup move like Calm Mind? Everything else is from lower tier, so we should be able to handle it pretty well. Obviously, those are still threats, but it's manageable at least. So obviously, if we can get in and we can get rid of the Jirachi, or at least knock off an air balloon, we could set up with Altaria, which is Dragon Dance, Earthquake, Return. We should actually have a fairly good time against this team. There's not a lot that we can do to it. We're a little bit of bulk and roost, so we should be able to set up on quite a few of the Pokemon on his team. Really anything on the lower side. Swallow we can't really set up on, but if we get up a Dragon Dance, we should be able to outspeed it and just Oko it because it's not super bulky. Yeah, that's about that. This was a couple weeks ago, so I don't remember exactly what's going on, but that's enough talking for me, so let's get into it. So I laid off with Electric Feel against Brave Bird. Maybe I'll run it at normal. So he U-turns out of there as I go for knockoff because I want to get off whatever item it has on there, whether it's Choice Scarf, Flame Orb, or Toxic Orb. And then he actually U-turns out into his Jirachi here. Let's slow it down a little bit on my knockoff, which is really nice. So I knock off, I believe, leftovers anyway. That does about 50%, and really Jirachi can't do a ton, so I just have to break through a flinch or two, and I should be able to 1v1 it pretty easily, which we are able to do, and getting rid of that is really nice, especially since it's not Choice Scarf. It'll give our Mega Altaria a lot to work with. So he goes out to Brave Bird. Electric Field really doesn't do a whole lot in the rest of this matchup. It could, with Giga Drain, help out against the Rhyperior, since we'll be able to outspeed it. But I guess I just sack it here instead of... I was switching to Cap. It might have been a little bit better at that point. Now watching this back, since there's not really a lot that it could do to me, and I could keep it alive and then recover back up with a Giga Drain. But, so it be. So I got an Cap in and I defog the rocks away, just because the rocks at this point are just be annoying. And hopefully if he has rocks there, he doesn't have it anywhere else on his team. Now that Jirachi's down, we hopefully got rid of them for the rest of the game. So there's not really a good switch in for this. I can go out into Raikou, which has a decent amount of special bulk. Can take a Volt Switch or Thunderbolt fairly well, which I would expect him to go for. So yeah, he just goes for the momentum play. I don't have any immunities, so he can just Volt Switch out, which is a very good play. And so he goes out into probably Diancie or Rhyperior here. No, that's clearly a better play than what I am thinking. He goes out into Claydol. Mon has no name, so he goes out into his Claydol. I have Shadow Ball on here, so I'm able to hit it with a super effective attack. I think I'm rocking... did I lose AP? Yeah, I'm rocking Life Orb, so I do a decent amount. But then he shows me the Trick Room, which is a little bit of a problem, because I don't have anything that can really touch this without taking a whole ton of damage. So I got out a Cap'n. Actually, this was not the play that I meant to really make at the time. I did not expect to underspeed him and therefore outspeed him in Trick Room, but it worked out. A little bit of serendipity here, and I'm able to KO him with a Scald. So that worked out really well. He doesn't have a great switch in for that, especially if I think he was running Choice Scarf on his Rotom-Mow. So that in Trick Room obviously is not the best thing in the world, especially if I'm packing any sort of like ice coverage. I'd just be able to KO him on the switch. So he goes out into this, which is clearly slower than me. I think it's base 40, but I just sack this, and that gives me the switch into my Arcanine. I think it's Arcanine. It's been a while. But I'll be able to intimidate and low. I did not Trick Room Claydol. That was definitely surprising, definitely very scary, but I'm able to live this. And so I want to give it the Will-O-Wisp burn here, because that just gives me one more thing to set up against with Altaria. So I can really set up against either this, or I can set up a Dragon Dance on his Rotom-Mow pretty easily. So that'll come in handy later on. As he switches out and goes into his Diancie here. And so this is where things going to go downhill for a bit. His Diancie, I recover up, just because that might be nice. Not sure. Usually they protect on the first turn that they Mega Evolve, which... Show me. Oh, so I'm Morning Sun on the switch. Never mind. So he protects as I go for a Flare Blitz, I believe, because I wanted to get off damage. Flamethrower. I'm running Flamethrower, that's right. Because the flare blades recoil on the defensive set. I don't always like that, because you're kind of counteracting your leftovers and passive recovery with your recoil damage. And flamethrower does a decent amount anyway. So he starts setting up calm mines, and at this point I'm pretty sure that the game's over. I can go out into, I have a couple things that should outspeed him. Thankfully he goes, no, I go for a roar there because I wanted to basically roar myself out, and maybe take a hit if he went for like a moon blast or something, predicting a switch into my levitating Azelf here. But he goes for just this. I just need enough damage so that Raikou can come in and finish it off with a hidden power grass. And so I go for Psyshock, which would have given me enough chip to come in at that point. But that is apparently enough to scare him out, so I just get a free Psyshock off onto this thing, his Rhyperior. Which is nice and all, but what that allows me to do is I can switch out into Altaria here and proceed to, now that it's burned from before, I can set up my Dragon Dances on this. If he has a Steel or Poison type move, I should be bulky enough to take that and set up on. So he predicts it switch fairly nicely and goes for a Poison Jab, which does only 20%. So this is an easy situation where I can just set it up right in his face. The burn is really helping me out, so I can get a free Dragon Dance up and then roost off the damage and cross my fingers that I don't get poisoned on the Poison Jab. Or critted. Even crit wouldn't be too bad because that would only be about 30%. So not a big deal, something I could roost off pretty easily. But hey, we luck out and we don't get poisoned. Oh, now it's super effective, that's why I went up. I forgot that little bit. But yeah, since I was only dragon flying before, it only did neutral damage, and now it did super effective, so it did a little bit of extra, even with my added bulk from Mega Evolving. Anyway, I can just go, I went for Roost, went for Poison Jab. I could try and Roost stall him out here, which is, or is not what I do. It is what I do. So hopefully he goes out in one or two more, and I would be at about 57%. Here I'm sitting at a good amount, and so I think I go for the return here, would be my idea. Or he just goes down to his burn. So that would work. Either way, I would have gone for return on the next turn. So I'd be sitting at 58%. And so at this point, I'm pretty sure that I can sweep the rest of his team unless he's running quick attack on his Swellow, which is what I'm fearing, even if he goes for Thunderbolts or Volt Switches here. So his best play here would probably be to Volt Switch and then try and come back in and KO with a Leaf Storm. But he just goes for Thunderbolt, allows me to knock that off, and that is game, because I outspeed the rest of his team. And he wasn't running quick attack on his Swellow. He was Banded Swellow, so I'm not sure what else he was running. So he just gives me the GG here. And the Eon Twins come out with a 3-0 victory in the first match of the two that we needed to win. So we give ourselves a little cheer, and our hope is still alive. So what happened after this match is that Zuvi played Nad, so Nedry's Chicago Cyndaquils. I don't exactly know what his handle was. I think that's right, Nad. And Nad pulled out the 6-0 victory, unfortunately, so he was behind us. And with that increase in his differential, he's actually within striking distance, where if we lose the next game and he wins against Quinn and the Baltimore Ravias, we are out of the playoffs. Stibe gets a forfeit in the next round in week 11 from Tooklandia, so he's automatically in at 7-4 with a +11 differential. So we have to pull off a win against Alinzko and the best team in the league. So it's a tall order for our Eon Twins, but hope is not lost. We're still in control of our own destiny. We just have to win a match, and I'm pretty sure that we can play a good game and give ourselves a chance. So let's look at Alinzko's team. Basically, it's threat, super threat, 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 threat. somewhat of a threat, and 2 walls that are we can set up on, hopefully. Musharna, which we could also hopefully set up on, and then Poliwrath and Shiftry, which I doubt are coming to this match because it doesn't make a lot of sense against my team. Maybe Shiftry does for some pursuit trapping and sucker punch shenanigans. So looking at his team, I actually thought right away that actually this is probably our best bet to bring Sticky Webs to. We haven't had a chance to bring it this season just because we haven't really needed it. And Leavanny it's good. I like Leavanny, but there's better options on my team in most matchups and situations. So yeah, I went, let's bring Webs. It's our last match. It could be the end of our season, so let's we drafted it. Let's bring it once. Sorry, Lapras, you're not coming to anything. Maybe later. We'll see if we make the playoffs. So yeah, Sticky Webs. What's interesting about that is that Zuvi was the other person in the league who beat Alinzko, and he brought Sticky Webs that week as well with Galvantula. I didn't watch that match too closely, but I assume that it helped him out. I know that he brought Defog Flygon, so I could watch out for that again. And beyond that, let's just go back to that replay. It's the last week. So this is now week 11. We're sitting at 7-3 with a +9 differential, +8. So we went from +5 to +8 differential, 7-3. So we're guaranteed 7-4 with a positive differential. So I kind of consider that a good season for the Eon Twins. Flare has been a pretty competitive league to be in, so if we can hold our own, that's about the most that I can ask for. The team we took a little while to get used to, but we started to roll later on in the season, and it's been a lot of fun. So this is our last match. Interesting thing, he's got none of the biggest things that I was worried about, which was Scarf Nidoking. For some reason, I was very concerned about that. It does do a lot of damage to the team that I have, since I don't have a great ground resist. Earth Power would do a ton of damage to everything, especially if Electros goes down. So I see that there's no Nidoking, and I do a little cheer in my head and a little happy dance in my chair, and I'm a little relieved to not see that. But there still doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet, because we still have to play the match. Bronzong, if we can get rid of our Altaria, does a good number on the rest of his team, especially if we get some chip damage off on Clefable, so that's going to be our main goal for this match. So let's go into it really slowly. So he leads off with Flygon with the witty HP Ice Bait nickname as I lead off with August, just trying to get my Sticky Webs up immediately. I have Protect on here if I needed to get Slopunny, but I just let him go for the U-turn. I have Focus Sash as well, so I'm going to live any hit and be able to get my webs up. And if he's got Defog, I'll force the Defog later. He goes out into his... I think he goes out into Bronzong. Bronzong here, so that's a sensible play. He can set up his rocks right away if he's got them, or do other shenanigans, set up screens if he needs to. But what I want to do is I want to get this out of the way if I can, so let's just get rid of that passive recovery of leftovers, and now there's not really much that can heal this back up. I dodge a Toxic, which isn't a huge deal because August isn't living another hit and it's not staying in too much anyway. So I just go for the Momentum Play and Baton Pass out of here. Running Webs, Knock Off, Protect, Baton Pass. So just kind of a somewhat supporty set. So I got into Cersei, which is somewhat slow, so I don't take a lot from the Gyro Ball. And Flamethrower is pretty good neutral attack on the rest of his team. I could have seen a switch into Flygon there potentially. Other than that, he doesn't have a really good switch into this, because I am pretty much a modest max special attack, good amount of speed, enough to outspeed the things that I need to outspeed. I don't think I could run enough speed to outspeed Lopunny. Maybe I was. Maybe I was just outspeeding his base 100s. Anyway, 135 is freaking fast. So he is running the Defog, which is cool. I go out into here to intimidate him. Fire Pupper is useful against Lopunny quite a bit and his Lucario, but I need it against Flygon because I don't really have a good check beyond that. So he goes into Good Night Moon. I'm not sure what this wants to do, but usually they're super bulky, so let's just get a Toxic on there and start wearing it down a little bit. Forgot that it is synchronized, so I Toxic myself, which is kind of annoying. Could have been cool if I was running Will-O-Wisp, but Toxic's going to hopefully rack up a good amount of damage. I'm not sure what he wants to do. Usually this thing's set up Calm Mind. Maybe he's running like Specs or something, so I can go out into August, see what he wants to do. Give me free opportunity to potentially just knock off or just get my webs up again. Here I go for, I think I go for knockoff. Yeah, I do. Thing I have to watch out for with knockoff is eventually he's going to switch into that Lucario, which I believe those have justified. Yeah, they do, right? Justified. I don't know, somebody, you know what they what it has. But he would get an attack boost from that, which would be quite frightening. So this starts setting up Calm Minds, which is kind of expected because it's a big pink evil blob thing. That is a beast to take down, but thankfully we have our set that is designed to take out the Clefable, which is our max special defense assault vet. No, what are we? Yeah, we're max special defense, max special attack, modest, with acid spray and Giga Drain, discharge, and volt switch. So acid spray to get rid of that special defense. We can use a Giga Drain to take back some of our health so we don't die on the next turn. And then we can go for more powerful attack of the discharge. Hopefully start wearing him down. He heals up here. That's fine. I can 1v1 this decently well at this point now that he's lost his extra defense. I get a discharge paralysis, which is just wonderful icing on the cake. Allows me to outspeed him and keep wearing him down. And let's see, does he get another attack off? I think he gets a full pair. No, he heal bells, so he heals himself up here. But now I can just Giga Drain freely because that'll knock him out from this range at half special defense. So he's got to switch out. He goes out into Flygon, which is a good play on his part, but allows me to get a little bit more chip damage. So we're slowly wearing this thing down. Because right now I don't really have a good counter for it. So it's just been able to get free reign, electric fields back up to a decent amount of health, so I can continue to check. I can continue to check the Clefable if I need to. So I just go out and Fire Pupper. Since I'm toxic, I'm gonna start reaching the end of my time in this battle pretty soon with Fire Pupper. So he'll just do what he can. So here he switches out into, I think Musharna would make sense. Also, Cash Me Outside would be good too, because if he gets a Fake Out without the Intimidate, he Fake Out without Intimidate plus Return plus Toxic will easily KO me even with the amount of health that I'm at. Or with the amount of defensive investment that I have. Oh, there we go. Yeah, as you can see, that does about 20%. So plus Toxic, plus Return. Not a lot we're going to be doing against that. So here, I think I'm pretty sure that I can live one more. So I go for a Flare Blitz. Gosh, if I could just remember what I was thinking at the time. For why exactly I made this play. But it kind of works out because he switches into Musharna. Oh, why did I make that play? I don't know, there's probably a reason for it. I know that I was thinking there was a reason. I think I just wanted damage, because if I get damage off on the Lopunny or the Lucario, then I have an easier time. Yeah, because I think if he stays in, he's got to go for High Jump Kick, which would KO me. That would allow me to go. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe it'll come to me already. But yeah, at least I'm able to toxic this, as I can see that it's starting to set up Calm Minds on me. It's probably got Calm Mind to attack and some sort of healing move. And as we see on this next, as soon as it triggers, there we go, he's got Moonlight, so we got the Morning Sun Moonlight combat going on. But I was able to heal up a decent bit, which allowed me to get some more Intimidates off. It's no point in continuing to heal up. I might as well just go out into Levani. I think it's finally time to sack that for good here. No, Electros. Surprise! Yeah, that's a good question. Why? I think I go, yeah, so I can live a Psyshock. I'm bulky enough, and there's not really, usually they just don't run a lot of special attack investment on their setup sets. So I do live that. I'm able to get off an Acid Spray, which allow me to go out into most other things, as well as with the toxic damage. The better play here might have been to go for a Discharge, but then you kind of fear the Flygon coming in. So this is a fine play. I'm not too worried about it. So I sack this to another Psyshock. So I think that's okay, since Clefable's down low enough that we should be able to revenge kill it with the rest of our team. There's nothing else that's really slower than it, so yeah, it's not going to get off another attack. Everything has enough power to take it out. So here I go in here, and he makes a good play here now to switch out into Lucario, expecting the knockoff. I went for Protect to do a little toxic stalling. I think the better play might have been to go for Webs, but this isn't a horrible play, really. So I'm just going to sack right here and hope he doesn't set up on me, which thankfully he doesn't. So Swords Dance would have been a little deadly right there, and would have easily allowed him to sweep the rest of my team. Maybe not, actually. Between Arcanine and Raikou, I probably would survive. So that, yeah, I guess that's maybe why he doesn't set up. I don't think he had set up on this anyway, since he's running Earthquake, Extreme Speed, Bullet Punch, and then maybe another coverage fighting move. I wonder if we see it. I don't think we see it. I think those are the three moves that we see. So, yeah, I live in Earthquake, I heal up, and then with the toxic damage, I'm not going to be able to live another one, so I would just go for a Flare Blitz here. So that's going to force him actually to switch out, because he wants to keep this alive. And this is kind of a cool play from me. Not a cool play, a nice bit of hacks on my side. So I go for the Flare Blitz, and I actually get the burn on the Flygon on the Flare Blitz, which is a huge play. So now this thing is no longer a threat. Now that it's burned, it's just going to start wearing down quickly. There's not really a lot he can do. At this point, he is in roll range for an extreme speed from what I was running, but he does live on just 1%. It is a roll in his favor, so that's not too surprising. It could have kind of been nice, but that allows the Flygon to go down, and that is another threat out of the way. So good job, Fire Pupper. You did what you're supposed to do, but you're starting to get worn down, which is, kind of worry, because he's still got Lopunny and Lucario left. But I have enough with what I'm running on Raikou and Nidoqueen to take these out. So I think it's still, I still have a pretty good shot at winning this battle. So obviously the burn helps, but it's not like super, super vital. So yeah, here I go out into Nimbus. He's used his Fake Out, and so I know that I can KO with a return, and there's nothing, even an Ice Punch he's not going to be able to knock me out with, unless he's, I don't think there's anything else that he could do. So I can just Mega Evolve and go for a return right away. No point in going for a Dragon Dance, because he's got enough priority left on his team that it's not going to make a difference. I just have to keep this healthy and take out either Lopunny or Lucario. Once I do that, Raikou is all set to go. Because I'm running quite a bit of HP investment. I'm running a bulky Calm Mind subset with a lot of special attack and a lot of HP investment, and a little bit of speed for what I need to outspeed. And so here, I don't want to take an extra. I have Nidoqueen's not doing a lot in the rest of this match because everything outspeeds it, and Musharna is not a huge worry at this point because I can take it out with my other two. He goes for Bullet Punch, and then he can just follow up with an Earthquake. But that allows me to go out into my Raikou, and I can just go for a Thunderbolt, which will take it out. Or, yeah, because I already calced that Earthquake. I survive an Earthquake here, and I can take it out from 62% easily with a Thunderbolt. So he switches out and sacks. Actually, he doesn't sack. So he switches out into his Musharna as I go for a Thunderbolt. So I can see kind of what he's doing here. Still, I don't know if there's anything that would really... So yeah, so what he has to do is he has to go out, he has to sack this, and then he has to come in, fake out, and high jump kick to take out Raikou before I'm able to take him out. And then between Lopunny and Lucario, he'd be able to take me out. So I have to go for a substitute here. He goes for a Dazzling Gleam, which is a little bit of a misplay. His best play there is to go for Psyshock. But that allows me to keep a sub, which pretty much seals the game in my favor, because I'm able to knock this out, and then I can knock out whatever comes in next with a Thunderbolt, and then Altaria is still at enough health to live any attack, bar like an Iron Tail from Lucario, and finish up the game as a 1-0 victory. So yeah, just watching how this plays out, he's going to go for a return here, break my sub. So I go for a Thunderbolt, which I don't believe KOs. Yep, doesn't KO. But with Leftovers Recovery, I'm back at full. There's nothing, no, back at 94. That's right, it's only 6%. I'm back high enough that I can live a high jump kick and KO with a Thunderbolt. So HP investment paying off there a little bit. And he goes down, and he's got to come in and just extreme speed. I send in Altaria and click return, and we see what happens. So that's how the rest of this is going to play out. So we don't need to really slow. We'll go back to slow. So yeah, it was a really good match. It was a lot of fun and very intense. Every play, I had to think through the options so many times, because usually I play by the seat of my pants, but here I was actually like, all right, let's make the correct plays, and also not make this battle take forever. So I was trying to do it a little bit quicker as well. But yeah, all he has to hit me is a Bullet Punch, and I'm able to take him out with the return. And that gives the Eon Twins a 1-0 victory and a playoff berth for Season 5. So we end up the season at 8-3 with a +9 differential. A little bit subpar on the differential side. +9, I guess it's averaging like a +2 on each victory. So, 2-0 is what we give right now as the forfeit differential. So I guess that's fair. But that's changing in the next season for many reasons. Anyway, that gets us into the playoffs. So Eon Twins in the playoffs. We get our rematch with Loco and the Vancouver Ursa-Rings, who knocked us out of the playoffs in Season 4 and went on to win the championship. So really looking forward to that. We beat him in our match earlier in this season. It was a very close one. He is a far better player than I am and far more studied in Pokemon. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. We've now we beat all 3 teams that are going to be in the playoffs with us, so there's a lot of hope for the Eon Twins, and hopefully we'll be able to bring the championship back to our squad. It's been a few seasons now since Season 2, and it'd be nice to get back to that final goal, highest place, peak of the peak, mountain top, Elite 4. Yeah. So yeah, this is the last Gen 6 regular season RBL battle. After this, we're moving on to Gen 7 in Season 6. So I guess, yeah, if anyone watched this far, congratulations. I don't know why. You could probably have seen this live. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. And until next time, this is Joseph and the Eon Twins signing off. Later days.